For Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. President Joe Biden addressed the nation last night about his decision to end his re-election bid and throw his support behind Vice President Kamala Harris.
Nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy. That includes personal ambition. So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. That's the best way to unite our nation.
The 10-minute address comes weeks after Biden's abysmal debate with Trump, where he spoke incoherently and raised questions about his cognitive ability and chances of winning the election. Harris courted the vote of women of color Wednesday, speaking at the historically black sorority Zeta Phi Beta in Indiana. The biennial meeting of roughly 6,000, mostly women, is part of a constituency she hopes will turn out for her in massive numbers.
I believe we face a choice between two different visions for our nation. One focused on the future, the other focused on the past. And with your support, I am fighting for our nation's future.
Harris would be the first woman, first black woman, and first South Asian American president. Donald Trump, meanwhile, unleashed a barrage of attacks against Harris, his likely new opponent, at a rally in North Carolina, calling her his new victim to defeat.
She's a real liberal. She really is a real liberal. She's much worse than him. And when you're dealing with these people, they're very dangerous people. When you're dealing with them, you can't be too nice. You really can't be. So if you don't mind, I'm not going to be nice. Is that okay?
He accused Harris of deceiving the public about President Biden's ability to run for a second term before he withdrew his re-election bid. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu doubled down his pledge to wipe out Hamas and wage war in Gaza during a speech to joint members of Congress that saw dozens of standing ovations. 6 protesters were arrested for disrupting or attempting to disrupt his speech. About half Democrats did not attend, including Vice President Kamala Harris. She and President Joe Biden are to meet Netanyahu separately today. Donald Trump meets him tomorrow. During his address, Netanyahu appealed for continued U.S. military support and called American protesters against his war in Gaza idiots. Eileen Alfandary reports.
Netanyahu, in the face of international and domestic pressure to negotiate a ceasefire, said the war in Gaza could end tomorrow if Hamas surrenders, disarms, and returns all the hostages.
But if they don't, Israel will fight until we destroy Hamas's military capabilities, end its rule in Gaza, and bring all our hostages home.
Netanyahu denounced the International Criminal Court. Its prosecutor is seeking an arrest warrant for him, the Israeli defense minister, and 3 Hamas leaders. Netanyahu also attacked U.S. activists protesting Israel's war in Gaza, charging they are dupes of Iran.
You have officially become Iran's useful idiots.
Axios reported about half of Democrats in both the House and Senate stayed away. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said she would not attend the address. The only Palestinian-American lawmaker, Rashida Tlaib, did attend, wearing the Palestinian scarf, the keffiyeh. She held a placard that said war criminal on one side and guilty of genocide on the other. I'm Eileen Alfandary.
Some Jewish lawmakers condemned Netanyahu's speech. Bernie Sanders called Netanyahu a war criminal. Jewish Democrat Sarah Jacobs of Southern California accused Netanyahu's war of fomenting a new generation of terrorism and said after 9 months of war, Israel's no more safer, but Netanyahu is evading accountability over corruption charges. Outside the nation's capital, thousands rallied against the war in Gaza, including singer Dave Matthews. He spoke to Al Jazeera.
It's a disgusting show of support for someone that doesn't deserve our support. I'm ashamed that my tax dollars are going to the brutalizing of an entire people.
Audie McAfee has more.
From the belly of the beast! From the belly of the beast! Hands of the Middle East! Hands of the Middle!
Thousands of demonstrators filled several blocks protesting his address as they carried Palestinian flags and signs that called for the arrest of the prime minister. Police blocked protesters from getting too close to the Capitol building and even sprayed some with pepper spray. Rama Ali Kassad is a member of the Palestinian Community Network.
Today we are here to remind these war criminals, to remind these butchers,
to remind these cowards your days in power are numbered.
I'm Audie McAfee.
Israel's far-right National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir has endorsed Donald Trump for U.S. president. The Times of Israel's reporting Ben-Gvir, who was once convicted of inciting racism and supporting a terrorist organization, reportedly said a hostage ceasefire deal with Hamas should be delayed because that would be advantageous to Democrats and detrimental to Trump in the November election. A group of U.S. DEA Drug Enforcement Administration agents joked about rape in a WhatsApp chat months before one of them was charged with rape in Spain. This according to new documents obtained by the Associated Press that it says unveil a culture of corruption among agents who parlayed the DEA's money laundering operations into a global pursuit of crime. The AP's Donna Warder reports.
The DEA documents describe federal narcotics agents involved in a worldwide pursuit of binge drinking, illicit sex, and money laundering. Many of the documents focus on ongoing investigations following the 2020 arrest of former agent Jose Irizarry, who's serving 12 years in a federal prison for money laundering for the very Colombian drug cartels he was sworn to police. Other agents Irizarry claims were also involved were either quietly disciplined or fired. In a WhatsApp chat group, agents talked about their world debauchery tour and forcible rape. In a 2018 case, an agent was arrested for allegedly raping a 23-year-old woman in a hotel in Madrid, but U.S. officials never spoke to the woman, and the agent was flown home hours after his arrest. A Spanish judge eventually dismissed the case, and the agent returned to duty. The DEA has refused to discuss its handling of the case. Donna Warder, Washington.
I'm Christina Onnested, reporting for Pacifica Radio.